Buttermilk Biscuits. And the best part is it's only 3 ingredients. So self-rising flour, buttermilk, and then the star of any show or any recipe, butter. So I have 4 cups of self-rising flour. Now this recipe is going to make 12 to 16 biscuits depending on how big your biscuit cutter is and how thick you roll out your dough. So feel free to cut this in half. But this one should make somewhere between 12. I'm going to guess 12. I kind of like to pat mine out kind of thick. And the other thing that I like to do is a lot of people cut their butter into little small chunks and then use a pastry cutter. And I prefer to just grate my butter. I found this trick. One day I wanted to make biscuits and my butter wasn't thawed out. It was frozen. And this was the only way I could figure to incorporate it. I think I saw, I caught it. A little piece of paper from the butter wrapper. I usually try to look at my wrapper and see if there's some on there because it seems like it always gets folded in at the end. All right, so once I've got about half of it grated, I go ahead and toss it a little bit. And then the only bad part about this is it gets a little messy, but y'all know I'm a mess anyway. Now, if you don't have self-rising flour, you can make your own. I wrote it down because I couldn't remember. You need 2 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of baking powder and then half a teaspoon of salt, and you can make your own. That's if you don't have it on hand. And the other thing you can do if you don't have buttermilk on hand is get yourself a bowl, or get yourself, the best thing to do is get one of these little liquid measuring cups. And you put in either a teaspoon, or wait, it's a tablespoon of either lemon juice or white vinegar, and then fill the rest up to the 1 cup line with regular milk. And then you just let it sit for a little bit, and after a while, you have a really good substitute for buttermilk. All right, so I almost got all my butter incorporated. Like I said, this is a bit messy. It's just the way I prefer to do it, though. I think that sometimes is the fun part of cooking, though, getting your hands in the food. I like to play with my food. All right, so I'm going to give my hands a quick wash. All right, now we're going to add in our butter. So we're going to, not our butter, our buttermilk. So we're going to need anywhere from 1 1/3 cups to 1 1/2 cups. So that was a full cup, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill this back up to, sling it all over myself, about the halfway mark. And we'll start to stir this. And you want your dough to be kind of sticky. All right, so I'm going to add in a little more. I got to tell you, I spent years messing around with different biscuit recipes. I think I've tried some biscuit recipes that have 10 or 15 ingredients in them, just trying to come up with the perfect one. And then one day I just thought, I'm just making this way too difficult. And these are really the only 3 ingredients you need. Matter of fact, I was thinking the other day, and I haven't checked it out because I'm sure someone else has had this same thought. I'm thinking you can make biscuits with 2 ingredients. I mean, milk and butter, if you just use heavy whipping cream, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? So I'm thinking you can do it with 2 ingredients, self-rising flour and heavy whipping cream, but that's a project for another day. All right. It looks like we may actually need more milk. There we go. Oh, my arm's getting a workout today. So I'm going to take some of the flour. We're just going to dust our counter here a little bit. And then I'm going to finish this off by working this in by hand, what's left in here. Then once we've got all this incorporated, we're going to knead this by hand, but not very much. We don't want to overwork our dough. Okay, that looks good. So we just want to knead this about, I don't know, and I'm not the best at this job either, but I don't know, maybe about 8 times. And I'm not counting, so I don't know how many times I did it. All right, so once we've got that, we're just going to pat this out. And again, it just depends on how thick you want your biscuits to be and how big your biscuit cutter is. So I usually try to do mine about 1/2 inch thick, and they usually don't all turn out the same size. But as long as they turn out delicious, that's all that matters. I'm going to flip my dough over. All right, that looks good. And I've also got my oven preheating to 4 1/4, so 425 degrees. And another thing that I like to do is just about, maybe 2 or 3 minutes before they're done, is to brush them with a little bit of butter. So let's see, how many do we have here? And I'm just going to bake these right here on my Pampered Chef pizza stone. Now I like to put these with the sides touching. I think it helps them to rise a little bit higher. And I think I made these a little bit thinner than I normally do because I usually get about 12 biscuits, and it looks like I'm going to get a little bit more than that. So we'll make these a little bit thicker. Another thing you can do to make them a really nice golden brown is, of course, brush them with a little bit of egg wash. But we're trying to keep this to just 3 ingredients this morning, so I think we can get one more out of here. 1 or 2. Get a little more flour on there. They all don't have to be pretty, right? There we go. All right, so I'm going to pop these in the oven, 425 degrees. It's going to take about 15 minutes, but you're going to want to start checking them probably around 12 just to make sure that you don't overcook them. Our biscuits are all done, and look how beautiful they turned out. They are all perfectly risen. They're nice and fluffy. I think they're just gorgeous, and I couldn't wait for y'all. I went ahead and put some butter and some clementine marmalade on here. They are so good. I think it's so amazing. You just take 3 ingredients and make beautiful biscuits like that. So I hope y'all give that a try because it's really, really simple. Thank you for watching. Bye.